Path of Exile 2 just unveiled an in-depth look at the game recently, from class mechanics to progression, as well as the new in-game system and its gear mechanics. In this breakdown, I'm going to cover everything shared in that hour-and-a-half long reveal, but don't worry if you don't have time for the full video. I've condensed all of the key points into a more digestible format so you won't be too overwhelmed. A lot of exciting information to unpack here, so make sure to subscribe, and I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Let's jump into it. The classes are now fully developed. Unlike the first game, the storyline takes us 20 years into the future. The world is different now, the monsters have mutated, and things are far darker than before. You start your journey by escaping a corrupt ruler, washing ashore in the ruins of an ancient city. From here, you'll explore a variety of unique locations, including hidden ruins, treasure-filled camps, and encounters with roaming merchants. Let's begin with the core gameplay of Path of Exile 2. As mentioned, the game still revolves around massive skill trees, similar to what you saw in Path of Exile 1. So you're already familiar with that, and if you're not, they've made it a little bit easier to understand. You'll feel right at home if you've played Path of Exile 1, but Path of Exile 2 also introduces plenty of new elements, for example, effects and mechanics that have been greatly refined, and there's a completely revamped mapping system. I'll get into the specifics about that later. A lot of people like to compare this game to Diablo. One big difference from Diablo is that every boss in the game is unique. No reused models or fights. Every area is handcrafted, not generated by AI like in Diablo 4. The goal of the main storyline is to uncover the source of corruption that's spreading across the land. Now, to track down that source of corruption, you're going to need to select a class. In early access, 6 classes will be available. All classes can be controlled with WASD, so you can move around without needing to click. To keep things concise, I'll do a brief overview of the classes, but I'll do a deeper dive into each one in a future video where I'll go into detail about which class to pick and why. Starting off with the monk, which this one so far has been one of my favorites, and I'll probably play this character first. The monk uses lightning, ice, and wind powers while moving around the battlefield, giving it a very dynamic playstyle. Next up is the warrior. Equipped with a shield and mace, the warrior excels in heavy, powerful attacks. You'll need to time your dodges to cancel animation delays, which can make the warrior feel very responsive. It offers 20 active skills to choose from. It's really cool that the warrior can cancel its animations. That's going to be super helpful. Moving on to the ranger, the class specializes in ranged combat using a bow. The ranger can shoot while moving and has access to poison, ice, lightning, and physical elements, allowing for diverse playstyles. Now, from the things that I've seen from the previews, I have to say that the ranger looks a little underwhelming. All right, so now the mercenary. Everybody's been talking about this one, and I think a lot of people are going to be trying the mercenary out whenever the game drops. A crossbow wielding class that feels like a shooter. It can transform the crossbow into shotgun, sniper, or grenade launcher with the ability to add elemental ammo for even more variety in combat. Moving on to the witch. This is a class that focuses on summoning minions with a particular emphasis on chaos magic. The witch also benefits from a great quality of life feature where minions revive automatically, making it easier to manage your army. Now, this one here also stands out a lot for me, and I'm probably going to either play the monk or the witch. It's between those two for me. Guys, let me know in the comments which one you're going to be picking. But moving on to the sorceress, this is the last one out of the 6, and the sorceress can wield a broad range of elemental powers, including combos between them. With the 25 active skills, this class has the most abilities, offering a lot of customization. Plus, you can swap staffs for different elemental boosts, giving you more control over your playstyle. Now, I have to say, after I play the monk or the witch, I'm probably going to go for a sorceress. Since we're talking about classes, let's talk about support gems that will absolutely take your character to the next level. Support gems are basically ways to add modifiers to a current active skill that you may have. In this example, you can see that you're able to shoot typically 1 grenade onto the ground. But if you add a multiplier or a support gem that will allow you to shoot multiple projectiles, you can now shoot multiple projectiles onto the ground and make more explosions. Each skill can have up to 5 support gems, which means you could have a ton of different build scenarios here. Even Path of Exile themselves don't know the outcome of most of the ways that you can build these characters. For example, the mercenary class can increase grenade usage from 1 to 3 shots. Gems are also freely movable, giving you more control over your character's abilities. In terms of gear, items come in 4 rarities: normal, magic, rare, and unique. Unique items will dramatically change your character's build and have custom art. Gear can be upgraded using orbs and even disenchanted or dismantled to create different rarities. Body armor and 2-handed weapons can hold 2 sockets, while other items can only have 1. Vendors will scale with you, offering useful gear at all stages of the game. There's also a gambling vendor and an open market system where players can trade freely. Now to mention, in Path of Exile, all items are freely tradable. There is nothing bound to you. The only thing bound to you is gold, which means that you can trade any item that you find. Just saying, Diablo should take notes. Now up next is the passive skill tree, and I'm going to touch on this really quick because I know seeing this can be really overwhelming for a lot of people, especially new players to Path of Exile, including myself because I am a new player to Path of Exile 2. I just recently started my Path of Exile 1 playthrough, which I hope to post a video about my impressions on that soon. But yeah, it can seem a little overwhelming. However, I see how this works now and I understand it. And once you understand this, it's really going to help you. All right. So what I need you to do is just understand that each side of the board, there's 1,500 nodes here. However, each side of the board has, one side's strength, one side's dex, one side's intelligence, and you just need to know what your character and build needs to spec into. You don't have to worry about all the nodes on this board. All right. Your character is going to start at a specific spot on this board and you're going to build from there. And it's just that easy. I would take it step by step, skill point by skill point. Don't worry too much about it. Obviously you can follow somebody's OP build guide or something like that. I will be posting some of my own whenever I get to the point where I find a cool little build, but I definitely recommend you just play, try things out. You can always respec later. You just spend a little bit of gold. If you feel like you've messed up, you can revert back and try something new. All right, so let's talk about some of the in-game mechanics. Moving into the in-game, we have the Ascension Trials, which let you further specialize your class. These trials are tied to a gauntlet system where each class can unlock 3 different Ascension subclasses. That's right, every class has subclasses. At launch, only 2 will be available, and they'll be drastically changing the way that your character plays. You'll also need to choose your Ascension carefully, as this choice will be permanent. Now let's quickly go over the Ascendancy trials and class specializations. In this game, your choice of Ascendancy class will significantly impact how your character evolves. Each class offers distinct paths to specialize in. For instance, the Sorcerer can choose between Stormreaver and Chronomancer. The Warrior has access to Warbringer and Titan Ranger. The Witch can go for Infernal or Blood Mage. Monk can be either an Invoker or a Acolyte of Chula. Mercenary can pick Witch Hunter or Gambling Legionnaire. I'll cover these Ascendancy paths more deeply in a separate class-focused video, but just know that the way you level these classes will play a major role in shaping your build. Within these trials, you can also collect a special trial currency, which can be spent at vendors within the trial system. After completing your first trial, you'll gain access to the Ascendancy class with 2 points to invest right away. There are multiple types of trials with new ones appearing over time, allowing you to switch between them or try them all. In terms of the game's overall structure, there were originally 6 acts, but the developers have scaled this down to 3 for early access. The early access phase includes a 25-hour story with 50 bosses and 400 different monsters, but this will expand significantly after launch. Once you hit level 45, you'll enter a thing called Cruel difficulty, which reworks earlier acts, so you'll go through 1 through 3 again, and it's a little bit more harder and challenging. You'll continue leveling from 45 to 65. This difficulty will eventually be phased out as new acts are added in future updates. Once you reach level 65, the game shifts into endgame mode, offering a more open world exploration style where you can choose where to go on the map. Unlike the earlier story-focused progression, this endgame is free roam, meaning you can explore different maps and tackle whatever challenges you choose. However, if you fail a map, you won't be able to retry it. You'll have to find another route. Additionally, there are special hideouts in the game, locations you can claim as your own. These can be customized to your liking, revealing more areas of the map and offering additional ways to interact with the world. So speaking of game structure, let's talk about the in-game mechanics and systems. The in-game offers several key features that build on the core gameplay. One of them is rituals. These occur around the world and require you to defeat monsters to power an altar. Completing these rituals rewards you with gear and crafting materials. They also feature a system that allows you to spawn more monsters for better rewards, similar to a farming loop. The Ritual Atlas lets you improve the system via a skill tree, enhancing your ability to craft and gain materials. Next up is Delirium. The mechanic takes place in specific zones covered by a silver mist. As you stay within the mist, waves of enemies will spawn, testing your endurance and combat skills. The longer you survive, the more rewards you earn, including passives and bonuses for your character. Next up is Expeditions. In these events, you'll dig up resources using explosives. The primary reward from these is an artifact currency, which you can use to enhance your gear. Like the rituals, Expeditions also have a skill tree that you can upgrade to improve your progress and rewards. This last one is called Pinnacle Boss. These challenging bosses are the ultimate test. They are like fighting Diablo's uber bosses. To defeat them, you'll first need to take down their lieutenants. These bosses come with high difficulty and require optimal gear and strategy to succeed. Each boss also has a unique skill tree to help you better prepare for the dangerous encounters. Just to note some additional features and farming, in addition to all these systems, you'll also encounter Vile Orbs, a special currency that lets you socket more gems into your gear, extending the customization options for your character. Now we're going to talk about how you can get access to this Path of Exile 2 early access. You will need to pay to get into the early access. It is not free right now. It will be free when the game launches. If you want to play Path of Exile 2 early access, you will at least need to pay that $30 fee. That is their lowest package. That package will grant you a key and allow you to get started right away. If you're a Path of Exile 1 player and spent $480 on the original game, you'll receive the key for free. So as long as you've spent a amount of money that totals up to $480 over the course of your Path of Exile 1 gameplay, they will be providing that key to you for free. There are also various supported packs available ranging from $30 to $480. These packs offer different bonuses including cosmetics and in-game items, all of which are cross-compatible with the original Path of Exile. So if you want to go play Path of Exile 1, you can absolutely use those cosmetics. If you're interested in learning more about these packages, let me know and I can break down the contents of all of them for you in another separate video. But yeah, that's it guys. That's a quick overview of the key mechanics and progression in the game. I'll go into more detail on things like class builds, supported packs, and how to access the game in other videos, but this should give you a solid foundation to get started with everything. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, I will see you guys later.